today I don't want to cook a recipe in my Thermomix. Nope, I'm feeling nostalgic. I want to make my grandma's favorite dish, and you know what? I'm making it old school. Many Thermomix owners have days like that, and that is awesome. Thermomix is not here to replace you if you love cooking. Now, even when you cook the traditional way, sometimes you still rely on tools, or you buy ingredients that have been already prepared for your convenience, right? You don't grind coffee with your teeth. You buy a coffee grinder. You don't turn sugar into confectioner sugar yourself. You buy it ready to use. And that ground beef, yep, you probably bought it already ground because you're not a professional butcher. So yes, machines were involved in creating your masterpiece. And that's perfectly fine. We still call it traditional cooking, right? Perfect. Then in this video, let me show you how your Thermomix can sit quietly in the corner today while you cook, but still have your back whenever you need it. I will show you how to grind coffee, grind your own beef, turn rice into flour, turn sugar into confectioner sugar. And then I will do some processes that you could have done manually, but the Thermomix can help you with it if you let it. We'll grate cheese, chop nuts, chop veggies, garlic, parsley, we'll steam bell peppers, meatballs, and of course, some veggies. All just using Thermomix as a tool. I will also show you one of the most overlooked pages on the TM7 screen, the page I call the cheat sheet. Yes, it has handy little ingredient icons and chooses the right settings for you, so you don't have to remember speeds, temperatures, or times. So stay with me, let's do it! Hi, my name is Diana, the Dummy Cook, and today we're using Thermomix just as a tool. Now, most people use Thermomix with guided recipes, but did you know that Thermomix was invented in 1971? And for the longest time, it didn't have guided recipes. Of course not. There were not screens in those first models. People had 3 knobs: time, temperature, and speed. That is the Thermomix language, really. And that's how they used it. They had recipe books, of course. And with those, they could turn the knob 5 minutes, 100 Celsius or 212 Fahrenheit, and speed 2, and they were boiling and stirring water for that precious soup. So yes, people were using those books, but they were also getting used to choosing the settings, and they understood the pattern. Oh, I get it. Speed 1 is like a spoon, making sure things don't burn. 2 or 3 is stirring, but 3 or 4 goes into chopping. Oh, speed 6 or 7 is blending, and 10 is so strong that grates everything. Oh, and I can set the blade on reverse mode on the dull side so it stirs and doesn't chop my pasta. Got it. It was not until 2014, when the TM5 came up, that guided cooking was introduced. Now you didn't need to choose the time, temperature, and speed because each recipe was pre-programmed. Great! That's how most people use their Thermomix nowadays with the cookie dough recipes. But they forget that many of those functions can be used as a standalone. Thermomix is probably the most powerful machine in their kitchen, and many people forget they have manual options, or that they can call just one function for today. Where are those functions? Right here. On the left side, we're going to choose the 4th icon, the blade icon. At first, this looks like the modes area, right? Yes, this is the place you go to if you want to use just modes, not recipes. But that's a whole different video. That will be part 2. Now, look here. There's a small arrow, and when I tap that arrow, ta-da! You see way more modes. And they are hiding the second part of the page. Let's scroll down, and here you are. Voila! This is what I call my cheat sheet. You see all these little ingredients? We have apples, beef, bread, broccoli, carrots, and much more. And then we have these tabs so we can filter the ingredients and find what we need faster. Chocolate and nuts, fish and seafood, fruits and vegetables, let's see more, herbs and spices, meats and poultry, or other. See, if I click here, it's all about herbs. So why do I call it a cheat sheet? Because I don't have to stand here and pretend that I remember every time, every speed, every quantity, every temperature. No. I select what I want to do with that ingredient, and the TM7 gives me the settings. Wanna see how it works? Let's do some grinding. I'm going to start with coffee. That will be a perfect example. I'm looking for coffee, and here we have the option to grind. When I choose grind, the TM7 shows me the quantity range. In this case, it is 100 to 250 grams. Yes, my Thermomix is set to grams, but yours can be set to ounces. The numbers will be different, but the process is the same. And now look at this. It gives me the setting. 1 minute, speed 9. That's the whole point of the cheat sheet. I don't have to memorize. Was coffee speed 8? Was it speed 9? For how long? The Thermomix is telling me. So I'm adding my coffee beans, closing the lid, and we're going to let it work. This one is going to do a real grinding job. So yes, you will hear it. But it's only a minute. And while it's running, think about this. I am not making a complete coffee recipe. I am not following cookie dough to make a dessert or a drink. I just needed one kitchen job, done. Grind coffee. That's it. Thermomix as a tool. Okay, let's see. Wow, look at that freshly ground coffee. And the smell, oh my goodness, I wish you were here. See, you don't have to grind coffee every day, but when you want it fresh or when you only need a little bit, you know where to go. Next, let's do something that I think a lot of us buy without thinking too much. Confectioner sugar. I'm going to sugar and I'm choosing confectioner sugar. The screen gives me 3 different weight ranges. I chose the first one, but the system realized I put more, so it chose the second option by itself, 120 to 160 grams. Okay, now I see that I don't need to choose myself, even better. For the amount I have in the bowl, the setting is 16 seconds, speed 10. I'm adding regular sugar, closing the lid, and here we go. 16 seconds, that's it. Let's open and yes, look at this. Sugar went in and confectioner sugar came out. This is very useful because sometimes you need confectioner sugar for a glaze or dusting or a dessert, and you don't want to keep a separate bag in the pantry forever. You can make only what you need. And fresh. Regular sugar becomes a specialty ingredient in seconds. I love it. And now, let's play a little. I'm going to use that same idea, but I'm adding mint. Same basic function, but now we're using it in a more creative way. I have less quantity, so this time the setting is 12 seconds, speed 10. Let's do it. And look at this, mint sugar. Isn't that cute? This will be perfect for a lemonade or to sprinkle on something fresh. Yum. Now let's go to vegetables. I'm choosing carrots. And look, the carrot page gives me more than one option. I can chop or I can steam. So the same ingredient can be handled in different ways depending on what I need. First, I'm choosing chop. There are weight options here, but I'm going to add my carrots and let the TM7 detect the amount. And look at that. It detected around 100 grams and selected the option for me. The setting it gives me is 3 seconds, speed 5. 3 seconds. That's nothing. All right, let's do it. Let's open and see. And you see, chopped carrots. Now for some recipes, this texture will be perfect. But today, for what I have in mind, I want them a little bit smaller. It's not a mistake, it's letting me choose. So I'm going to run it one more time. Let's do it again. And now, yes, this is closer to what I wanted. The setting is a starting point. The Thermomix gives you a very good direction, but you're still cooking. You still look and decide. Now I'm going back to carrots, but this time I'm choosing steam. And now the screen is asking more specific questions. Are they whole or sliced? And where are we gonna steam them? In the basket or in the baroma? I'm choosing sliced, and I'm choosing the basket for demonstration purposes and because I just have a few pieces. The basket is for smaller quantities. The function tells me to add 500 grams of water, which is about 17.5 ounces, and that's what you will see if you have your unit in ounces. Remember that that's just a setting in your unit. Okay, water goes in. Of course, with steaming functions, the Thermomix needs a liquid in the bowl to create the steam. Now I have my carrots in the basket, and the setting is 20 minutes, speed 1, reverse blade, just to stir the water. And again, the point is not that the carrots are impossible to steam without a Thermomix. Of course, you can steam carrots many ways. The point is that when I'm here thinking how long for sliced carrots in the basket, I don't have to guess. The ingredient page gives me that information. See? Perfectly steamed carrots. Done! Now let's go for nuts, because this one is very visual. In the nut section, I can see different groups. Almonds and hazelnuts, peanuts and cashews, walnuts and pecans. I'm choosing walnuts and pecans, and I'm going to show you 2 different textures. First, coarse. The setting is 2 seconds, speed 4. 2 seconds, let's see. And here we are, coarse nuts. Nice pieces, still with texture. This could be perfect for topping a salad, adding to a cake, mixing into cookies, whatever you need where you still want to see and feel the nut. Now I'm taking part of this batch and choosing the ground texture. The setting is 6 seconds, speed 6. Let's do it. And And look at the difference. Same ingredient, but just by changing time and speed, we got a completely different result. This is where you start learning the language of Thermomix. 2 seconds at speed 4 gives me one kind of texture. 6 seconds at speed 6 gives me another. You don't need to memorize it today, but your brain starts noticing. Now cheese. Let's start with Parmesan or hard cheese. In the cheese section, I see Parmesan or other hard cheese and medium hard cheese. I add my Parmesan, which is cut into cubes. The setting is 10 seconds, speed 10. Let's see what happens. Oh wow, look at that. This is so fine and fluffy. It's almost like Parmesan snow or Parmesan dust, but in a good way. You see? Now, let's be honest about the texture. This is very fine and fluffy, almost like flour, and it's beautiful for pasta, sauces, soups, or sprinkling over a dish. But some people want a shredded texture, and when they don't get it with the Thermomix bowl, they assume they could get it with the extra accessory, the cutter. Don't do that. The Thermomix cutter is not for hard cheese. It does a beautiful job with soft cheese, but don't try it with Parmesan or you will break the shaft. If you specifically want large Parmesan flakes for a salad, you'll need another tool. But for fresh, fine Parmesan, this is amazing. And I do love the freshness part of it because you can keep a block of Parmesan, cut what you need, and grate it right now. I don't like those bottles of pre-grated Parmesan that are sitting around for months. Ew. Now let's do cheddar. For cheddar, I'm choosing the medium hard cheese option. I have cheddar cut into cubes and the setting is 5 seconds, speed 7. Let's go. Okay, look at this. This is not traditional shredded cheddar. I'm not going to call this long shreds because it's not. That's what you have the Thermomix cutter for. These are more like small pieces, almost cute little cheese balls. And that can still be very useful for baked potatoes, maybe mac and cheese, depending on your recipe, shepherd's pie, tacos, nachos, or anything where the cheese will melt or be scattered over the top. And now I'm doing a fresh Mexican cheese, also cut into pieces. Again, look at the result. These are small, cute pieces, and they are perfect for tacos, nachos, burritos, tostadas, and so many Mexican dishes. Actually, I know a chef who has 3 Mexican restaurants in Salt Lake City, and he told me that he constantly uses a Thermomix to prepare the cheeses for all 3 locations. It is one of the Thermomix functions he uses all the time. So this is not only cute, this is restaurant approved cute. Now let's move into herbs. I'm choosing parsley. Chop and the smallest weight option. The setting is 4 seconds, speed 6. This is one of those things we absolutely can't do with a knife. I'm not pretending parsley is impossible by hand, but sometimes you want it done quickly, you want it even, and you already have the Thermomix there. Let's do it. And there we go, chopped parsley. Fast and simple. Now I'm going straight to garlic. And notice, I did not clean the bowl after the parsley. Why? If I'm making something with parsley and garlic, I probably don't need to clean between those two. I will continue. I'm choosing garlic, chop, smallest quantity option, and the setting is 2 seconds, speed 8. 2 seconds, that's it. And there it is. Normally, this is the moment where I will add my oil and start sauteing right away. But remember, today we said we're not cooking a complete Thermomix recipe. Today I'm showing you the Thermomix as a tool. Now we're going to do one of my favorite transformations of this video, rice flour. I'm choosing rice and then flour. The only allowed quantity range is 100 to 150 grams, so about 3.5 to 5.3 ounces. And here is a very real moment. I added 180 grams. That is more than the allowed range. And the TM7 said, nope, not exactly with those words, but it refused to continue because I was outside of the quantity for that function. And I love that this happened in the video because it teaches us something. This guided ingredient function is not just giving us ideas, it is also protecting the range that it was designed for. If I need more rice flour, I can do it in batches, no drama. So I removed some rice and now I have 100 grams. The setting is 1 minute and 30 seconds, speed 10. And I'm warning you now, this one gets loud. Yes, it's like having a small flour mill in your home. Crazy. Let's do it. Okay, moment of truth. Rice went in and and flour came out. Wow, this is impressive. This is one of those Thermomix moments where I still go, really? You did that? I started with something I already had in the pantry and now I have rice flour. This is so useful when you only need a small amount and don't want another specialty flour taking up space in your pantry. Or when you need a gluten-free flour option, then you don't need to go out and look for expensive packages. You can make it yourself. By the way, you can do the same with almond flour. Just use dry blanched almonds. Store-bought blanched almonds are normally dry enough, but if you blanch them yourself, make sure they're completely dry before grinding. Almond flour is expensive, right? So making only the amount you need can be a great option. Now let's go to meat. I'm choosing ground beef. The function is grind. We have the smallest weight option. The setting is 10 seconds, speed 6. I have plain beef here. No seasoning, no herbs, no egg, no breadcrumbs, nothing. That is intentional. I am not making a meatball recipe yet. I am demonstrating the grinding function. If you want meatballs, burgers, fillings, anything like that, the seasoning belongs to your recipe. Or you can follow a guided cookie dough recipe. There are tons of great burger patty recipes. But this function today is simply showing us whole meat goes in, ground meat comes out. Let's do it. And there it is, ground beef. And you could have done this with lamb, pork, and chicken as well. Now, I'm going to form meatballs for that plain ground beef and steam them. Again, plain meatballs for the demonstration. This is not my big, amazing meatball recipe. This is just to show you the steaming timing and how we can coordinate more than one ingredient. For the meatballs, the steaming function tells me to add 500 grams of water and the setting is 25 minutes, speed 1, reverse blade. But you know what? These meatballs need 25 minutes. So let's take advantage of all that steaming time. Let me see what else I have in the fridge. I have bell peppers. Let's check the cheat sheet. How long do bell peppers need to steam? 14 minutes? Perfect! I'll put them in the aroma tray, and because they finish before the meatballs, I can remove just the tray after 14 minutes and let the meatballs keep cooking. And to make sure I don't forget the peppers, I'm setting the separate timer here. See? Call me in 14 minutes. Hey, you didn't know there's a separate timer, huh? Nice. So we start the meatballs, the peppers are steaming at the same time, and when the timer sounds, I remove only the pepper tray. The meatballs continue cooking for the rest of their time. And here we have it. Peppers cooked, meatballs cooked, and I had a little help organizing the timing. Amazing, right? Well, this is something you can do anytime you have steam coming out of your Thermomix bowl. Are you making a soup today? Add some green beans or zucchini on top, or a salmon with potatoes. Use the aroma. Multi-level cooking is one of the greatest Thermomix benefits, and it's up to you and what you want to add on top of the recipe that you're already making. Now, before we finish, let me show you a few other ingredient buttons that caught my attention. I'm not going to demonstrate all of them today because we will be here forever, but I want you to see the possibilities. See, for example, we can crush ice right here. Crush. There are also ingredients like chickpeas or lentils shown on the page right here that you can ground. Tons of vegetables for chopping or steaming. Let me go to the vegetable section, constrained to vegetables and fruit, and see, broccoli, steam. Okay, carrots, like we saw before, chop or steam. Apples, chop or steam. And then you can look at the picture, which I think is very helpful. If you say, I have this much, this is the result you're going to have. Apples, onion, potatoes. When you make them in the bowl, they're gonna be small pieces. It's the same thing we talked about with the cheese. If you want a cute look, then you need the Thermomix cutter or one of those kitchen tools that you've always had. If you're using the bowl, it's going to make them into little pieces, and here you have the picture. Let's see, we have tons of different veggie options and fruit. We also have fresh herbs, which I think is very helpful. A lot of people like to do their own spices, or you spend a lot of money buying the ground ones. We also have in the chocolate and nuts, let's go to chocolate and see, you have chopped, but here we have a lot of options. And if I choose dark chocolate, I'm going to have coarse or fine. And once again, I love what the picture gives me. If I choose this quantity, this is coarse, all right. Or I can go back and say fine, small quantity, and that is fine, right? If I click on fish and seafood, definitely I can steam fish. Yeah, we're not going to chop it. And you can do fresh fillet or peas, frozen fillet or peas, and a whole fish. I have done that and it's amazing. If you go to seafood, again, steam only, right? Fresh shrimp or frozen shrimp or even mussels. The possibilities. Really, just play with it. And the point is not that you must use the Thermomix for every single one of those things. No, if you have 1 clove of garlic and a knife in your hand, go ahead. You're the boss of your kitchen. The point is that the Thermomix can be one convenient tool for many of these jobs. And the settings are right here. And like we said, after using them for a while, you start recognizing the patterns. You begin understanding the Thermomix language. Once those patterns start making sense, manual mode will not feel nearly as mysterious. Yes, manual mode right here. See the 3 knobs: time, temperature, if needed, and speed, with or without reverse blade. Those are your settings. I will teach you manual mode in a completely separate video very soon. But first, I will be making part 2 of this video, where we're going to whip cream, knead dough, shred chicken in 4 seconds, and talk about some pantry staples you cannot miss, like peanut butter, caramel, jam, and yogurt made from scratch. I love teaching you Thermomix, and if you love learning from me, please give this video a like and subscribe so you can watch more of my videos. If you need a Thermomix in your life, please email me right here or choose my name before checkout, Diana Legissima at your service. That way, I won't only be here for you in these videos, I will also be on the other side of the phone or a video call, ready to help you and answer your questions. I love what I do, and it shows. You'll see. Anyway, I guess I need to get ready and start recording that part 2 that I just promised you. Last night, I could not sleep because I was thinking about the video shots. Really. Thank you so much.